How are college students spending their money? Each year, college students are increasing their spending habits, which is severely affecting the debt that they are getting themselves into. College students spend their money each year on several different things, such as food, alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, clothing, textbooks, and transportation. Due to the many different things that they are spending money on, most students resort to using credit cards in order to pay for these. Because they do not have the money, by doing this, college students can get themselves into large amounts of debt. Eventually, students will graduate from college with this debt and then will have to take on student loan payments while trying to pay for credit card bills as well. Credit card debt commonly begins to accrue during young adulthood. In recent years, there has been a dramatic growth in credit card usage among college students. About 84% of undergraduates have at least one credit card. Credit card debt is a major societal concern in the U.S. Credit card debt is considered bad debt. High levels of debt at young ages are leading more students and young people to the bankruptcy courts. The convenience of credit cards sometimes tempts students to live beyond their limits. Inexperience with credit and a lack of personal financial knowledge is likely to place some students at greater financial risk for having large and perhaps unmanageable debt burdens when they graduate. This chart shows the average credit card debt by college grade level in 2013. Freshmen spent an average of $611, sophomores spent $258, juniors spent $547, and seniors spent $610. If used responsibly, credit cards can provide a number of advantages to college students. Credit cards can be a convenient way of payment, a useful tool for learning financial responsibility, a resource in case of emergencies, a way of establishing good credit history, and a way to gain greater access to credit in the future. This graph shows the usage of credit cards amongst college students. 14.2% of students said that they used credit cards almost daily. 31.9% says that they used them a few times a week. 29.3% of students said they used it a few times per month. 19.6% said that they used their credit cards rarely, and 4.9% said they used it for emergencies only.
So I'm really bad with money, so I thought it'd be a good idea this summer to apply for a credit card because I think that money just grows on trees basically, because whenever I've gotten in trouble, someone's usually eventually got me out of it. So one morning I was inspired to sign up for a credit card, and I did not tell my dad. I did tell my mom. She said, "Nicole, that's a bad idea, don't do that, and I'm not co-signing for anything, so go ahead, like, you do you." So I signed up for a Discover student card, and for some odd reason I was given the card, like they accepted me. So they sent me the card and I got a credit line of $1,000. So in about 2 months I reached that credit line of $1,000 because I just am very irresponsible, and I would like mindlessly spend money. If I saw something I wanted, I'd be like, oh yeah, I have my credit card. So when I get to school in this fall and I work, I can pay it off. Needless to say, I've managed to pay off like, right now like $35 of it's paid off of the 900 something, because I paid off $70 of it and then I needed money for stuff. So what I did was I cut up the credit card, but then I needed money and I knew I had paid some of it, so I called Discover and they sent me a new card. So I used money, I used that, so then I reached my credit line again, and just recently I did the minimum payment for the month of November, and then my boyfriend actually found out that I got another credit card and he took it away from me. So yeah, I'm a little bit in debt right now.
In addition to incurring credit card debt, young adulthood is also a sensitive period of time for experiencing increased stress and engaging in many compromising behaviors such as smoking and drinking. According to the American College Health Association, 86% of college students reported using alcohol in the past month. 82% of students reported using cigarettes in the past month. Approximately $5.5 billion is spent by college students each year on alcohol.
And
Yeah. On average, how much do you spend a week on alcohol?
I normally spend about $20 a week at the liquor store, and then when I go out each night, I spend about $10 at the bar.
And how do you pay for it?
At the bar, I normally use cash, so I can keep charge
You're good.
of how much I spend, and then at the liquor store, I use a card because it's easier.
Do you spend more on alcohol than you do on other things like food and gas?
Yeah, probably. It evens out. I try to go to the food store once a week, and I normally spend $50. And then when I go out to the bar, it's a little more.
$4 billion is spent each year on personal care products for college students. On average, a student spends around $1,989 or more per year on personal expenses. Clothing and accessories can cost up to $6.6 billion per year. Food costs U.S. college students over $11 billion combined each year. In 2011, the average student spent $765 eating off campus. Roughly $33 billion is spent on back-to-school supplies. Almost $2 billion of that amount is spent on collegiate-branded school supplies, such as sweaters and hats with logos on them. As you can see, a lot of money goes towards personal expenses. Books for classes can cost an average of roughly $1,200 per year, which is around $600 per semester. Aside from books, there are other necessities for classes. For example, a nursing major needs a lab coat, goggles, stethoscope, and a blood pressure cuff. $13 billion is spent each year on electronic computers, tablets, and mobile devices as well. A student can pay $1,073 per year on transportation costs. Expenses may include vehicle fees, parking, gas, maintenance, and travel costs. At URI, a residential parking pass is $250 per year. Factor in gas prices and how many times you fill the gas tank a week. These prices can add up. Train tickets home can also add up to around $500.
What's your major and how much did you spend on books and supplies this semester?
I'm a biological science major, and this semester I spent close to $600 on books. My one book was $250 alone. Then the other books.
Alexa?
I'm a nursing major, and I spent around $500 for books, but also as a nursing major you have to buy a lab coat, a stethoscope, and that's really expensive as well.
Alright. How much do you spend on transportation to and from school and around school?
Well, I live pretty far away, so an Amtrak ticket for me is around $350 to go home, which is really expensive, plus everything you're paying to just go to school here, so.
I gas it up. I have a car, so it depends. I have a pretty good gas tank. So each time I fill up my tank, it's around 45, maybe 50 bucks, and then it depends really how much I drive.
Do you spend a lot of money on eating out?
Yeah, because in our starting house we do have a chef during the week, but on the weekends go to the Emporium, order food. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
On the weekends I usually always eat out, but during the week I never do. I usually eat out Sunday night and Saturday night.
How much do you spend on average?
It really depends. I usually just go to maybe Panera or Moe's, so $10 or something.
Do you use a card or cash?
Usually a card, because I never have cash.
Awesome.
In addition to personal debts, it's hard to forget about student loan debt. Before you take out a loan, it's important to understand that a loan is a legal obligation that you will be responsible for repaying with interest. For the college class of 2013, the average borrower carried more than $35,200 in student loan debt. This type of debt is considered good debt. Higher education increases your earning potential in the workplace, allowing you to pay back student loans and continue earning more. After graduation, you must be able to pay for your basic necessities as well as meet your minimum monthly student loan payments. It is highly recommended to have a credit card in order to establish good credit history. To maintain good credit, payments must be made on time and the balance should not exceed an amount greater than what you are able to pay back. To cut back on spending money on alcohol and drugs would be to try and limit yourself to buying less than usual each week. This will significantly decrease the amount of money spent on these items. In order to reduce the amount of money spent on personal items, you could try and cook for yourself rather than going out to eat or ordering takeout. Other recommendations include maintaining a spending diary of the amount of money that you spend on a monthly basis. By doing this, you will be able to physically see where changes must be made in order to save money. For books and supplies, money can be saved if books can be shared or borrowed from people who previously had taken the class. Carpooling or limiting the amount of times that you travel can save you money as well for transportation. For student loans, it is important to keep track of how much money you're borrowing and how much you can afford to repay. Your student loan payments should be only a small percentage of your salary after you graduate, so it is important not to borrow more than you need to for school-related expenses. In conclusion, college students continue to spend their money on various items. College students end up spending more money over their years of college than they expect to. If you apply for a credit card and then abuse it, this can end in having an outstanding balance that you cannot afford to repay. Money spent on alcohol and drugs, personal expenses, books and supplies, and transportation is extremely high. Students have to consider paying off student loans before they can get themselves into more debt. Coming out of college, students may be in more debt than they thought they would be, merely because of the additional expenses that they had along the way.